Sand cats are easily some of the cutest animals at the Berlin Zoo. Last year, a litter of sand cat triplets was born here, and they've fully inherited their parents' signature wise stare and adorably dopey vibe. They're basically the definition of cute. These little furballs spend most of their time either napping or looking pensive in a few indoor rooms. Occasionally, they'll wander outside for a quick patrol of their territory. Sometimes, they'll randomly pick a lucky and good-looking visitor to honor with a belly show. What can I do? I just have to grab my camera and snap a photo out of sheer respect. But don't let their cuteness fool you. These animals are survivors. They live in one of the harshest environments on Earth, the desert. In their native habitats, summer temperatures can hit 40 degrees, which means the sand gets scorching hot. To deal with that, they've developed special fur between their toes, forming little pads that insulate against the heat and help hide their tracks from predators or prey. Thriving in conditions like that, these cats are way more hardcore than they look. At the Berlin Zoo, the sand cats live in a section called the Empire of Cats. It's located really close to the Elephant Gate. Just walk about 200 meters in from the entrance, and you're there. The building itself dates back to the 1970s, so it's been around for quite a while. But in 2022, it went through a major renovation, and now it's much more modern. Both the animals and the visitors get a pretty good experience. One of the main roles of modern zoos is education, and Empire of Cats does a great job in that department. The educational displays are super engaging. They use lots of pictures and models that really catch your eye. Take the model of a tiger's tongue, for example. How can you not reach out and touch it? It just looks so cool. The building is home to 12 different species, but only 7 of them are actually cats. Considering the zoo has around 1,000 species in total, the cat representation does feel a bit on the low side. This is the margay, a stunning small wildcat native to Central and South America. But here at the zoo, they're really hard to spot. Most of the time, I have no idea where they're hiding. The lions, on the other hand, have the biggest outdoor enclosure in the whole empire of cats. It's lush with plants, full of varied terrain, and surrounded by a wet moat. In terms of both size and design, it's actually quite impressive. Currently, the space is home to a trio of lion siblings, one male named Mateo and 2 females, Elsa and Hannah. When I first visited, both Mateo and Elsa were wearing radio collars around their necks. Turns out, those were part of a research project. They were helping scientists collect behavioral data. The Sumatran tiger's outdoor area is a bit smaller than the lions, but to be fair, there are fewer tigers living here, just a pair of twin sisters named Louise and Lotte. So when you think about it, the space per tiger is actually not bad. Their enclosure is also surrounded by a wet moat, which is a really natural-looking setup and works quite well as a barrier. But that natural look comes with a bit of a trade-off. In winter, when the water is drained, it becomes obvious just how much space the moat takes up. It actually eats into a big chunk of the available land area. That said, since tigers absolutely love water, maybe that trade-off is totally worth it. There are 8 confirmed subspecies of leopards, and the one on display at the Berlin Zoo is the Persian leopard. I don't have many photos of them though, mostly because I can never find them. Their enclosure isn't actually that big, but even after multiple visits, I still haven't caught a proper glimpse. Honestly, I have no idea where they hide all day. It's kind of a mystery at this point. The last of the big cats here is the jaguar, and there's something about its gaze that feels a little melancholic. Its indoor enclosure is absolutely beautiful. Lots of naturalistic features, a pretty complex layout, and enough variety to keep a jaguar mentally stimulated. But the outdoor viewing area is a bit odd. The dense vegetation makes it really hard to see inside, so I've never quite figured out what the space actually looks like. It feels kind of small, but I can't say for sure. One pleasant surprise came last spring. I noticed a sign outside announcing plans for a brand new jaguar habitat called Jaguar Island. I think it might be the area shown in the current video, designed with both land and water, which is exactly the kind of environment jaguars love. And the upgrades don't stop there. When I visited again in winter, I found that the other side of the Empire of Cats had become a full-on construction site. It turns out the zoo is building a whole new habitat area for the larger feline species. So maybe, before long, the Sumatran tigers and Persian leopards will be moving into brand new homes. Actually, the German name of this pavilion is Reich der Jäger, which translates to Realm of the Hunters. So it's not just cats living here. There are other kinds of hunters as well. Take these little guys, for example, the ring-tailed mongoose. Their tails are almost as long as their bodies and are covered in black rings, hence the name. Their striped tails even remind me a bit of red pandas. Then there's the narrow-striped mongoose, a species listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List. They also go by a much cuter name, Boki Boki. These animals carry around their own built-in fuzzy blanket, that big fluffy tail. When they sleep, they pull it over themselves like a cozy little comforter. Interestingly, those two animals, the ring-tailed mongoose and the narrow-striped mongoose, are actually closely related. They both belong to the order Carnivora, but more specifically, to the family Eupleridae. I used to think they were part of the mongoose family, but turns out I was wrong. Their native habitat is Madagascar, and in fact, all 10 carnivorous species native to Madagascar belong to Eupleridae. They share a common ancestor and are distantly related to true mongooses. Both the ring-tailed mongoose and narrow-striped mongoose are incredibly rare in European zoos. By contrast, common dwarf mongooses are much more commonly seen. Pretty much every major zoo I've been to has them. They're also the only true mongoose species housed in the Realm of the Hunters exhibit. The red panda is also a member of this exhibition hall, even though, technically, it's not a cat at all. It doesn't seem to have an indoor enclosure, because I've always seen them outside, whether it's summer or winter. Even though red pandas are endangered, they're actually pretty common in zoos, and extremely popular with visitors. One thing to watch out for when you're visiting them: air raids from wild birds flying overhead. You've been warned. The only resident of the entire pavilion that doesn't belong to the order Carnivora is the rhinoceros iguana. This endangered reptile is fairly common in zoos, but still a fascinating creature to see up close. From the perspective of transforming an old building, the Empire of Cats is honestly a huge success, especially when it comes to education. I actually took photos of most of the educational signs with the intention of reading them all later at home. Though to be fair, I still haven't gotten around to it. Missing out on seeing the Oncilla was a bit of a personal disappointment, but definitely not the zoo's fault. In fact, I really respect the zoo's approach of letting animals decide for themselves whether to be visible or stay hidden. That's the kind of philosophy that puts animal welfare first. In a year or two, Jaguar Island and the new big cat habitats will be finished. That means the tigers, leopards, and jaguars may soon move into bigger, better homes. And once that happens, their current spaces will be freed up, opening the door to all kinds of possibilities for the Empire of Cats in the future.